IRS Act. These guidelines are more than adequate to investigate what we have, any potential acts in the future.
Will you say that right into the camera?
Yeah, these guidelines here are more than adequate to investigate any terrorist group, domestic or foreign, that comes into the United States. There's no question about it. I've reviewed them. I haven't had an opportunity to review these in 15 years. I reviewed them just the other day. They just would work perfectly. There's no problem with it. There's no reason for any new legislation.
For nearly 30 years, you were on one side of the fence, and then suddenly you're coming out on the other and actually accusing your former employers. Why are you doing this?
For 45 years, 28 years as an FBI agent and 16 years or 15 years since, I've never changed positions. I've always been on the right side. I'm a seeker of the truth. When I was in the FBI, I sought the truth. When I got out, I still seek the truth. So it's not me being against the FBI. I'm against anybody who is not being honest.
Ex-Bureau Chief Gunderson fears that certain people in the government are intentionally withholding and diverting information.
Now, we apparently have an element within the government. I don't want to chastise the whole government, but we apparently have an element within the government that doesn't feel this way. And they're putting out this disinformation. And I think it's a horrible situation. I think someone needs to really delve into it. There are some good people in the government, too, so I don't want to chastise all of them.
You left the FBI at a relatively early age. I would presume you were probably in your 50s after nearly 30 years. Why did you retire so young? Were you under a cloud of any type, or was there some kind of corruption that you couldn't stomach within the FBI at the time?
No, I've never been involved in any corruption. Knew of no corruption when I was in the FBI. It was a great organization. I had a fantastic career. I'd get up in the morning and shave, and I'd say, I can't believe they're paying me to go to work today. That sort of thing. And I retired because I was 50 years of age, and I had mandatory retirement at age 55. So I said, well, why should I wait another 5 years? I'll get out now. And I did. The only problem I've had since I got out is there's been a disinformation program aimed at me by unknown sources within the government. Like I've been accused of being a homosexual and being involved in suffering from mental problems and being forced out as a disgruntled employee, that sort of thing. None of it is true. None of it is true, absolutely not.
Mike Reconner is probably one of the 12 most brilliant men on earth.
This man is known to us only as Ray, and he agreed to go on our cameras only on the condition that his face be shadowed. He was recruited into the CIA by a 20-year veteran operative to work with one Michael Reconner. They were to build portable electronics labs to intercept communications. These were highly technical and sophisticated command posts known as C3I, which stood for Communication, Command, Control, and Intelligence.
We're being fed the information secretly, and we know what's going on. I would prefer believing General Parton's explanation than the Anfo explosion. Of course, we have our own definition of what happened.
Their own definition of what happened is a super bomb, which has been touted for months by Ted Gunderson on talk radio.
Now, the way our pineapple bomb works is that a cloud of aluminum, silicate, lead azide, and a few other ingredients is set up so that a specific chain molecule exists, it permeates the air all the way around the pillars and so on and so forth. And this cloud is energized with a high voltage pattern, a specific high voltage pattern, which produces a sort of a stairway pattern in the molecular structure of the cloud. Part of that pattern is a hydrodynamic generator, a hydrodynamic power generator, an energy source, shall we say, permeating the cloud, which is then energized with another energy source and then it's detonated. And this causes the cloud itself to explode in such a fashion so that if the cloud is circulating around the pillar, then it crushes the pillar from all sides and turns that pillar literally to dust and leaves only the rebar behind. So if you've got this cloud permeating all the way around the first floor, wherever it is, anything in its path gets crushed, imploded to dust instantaneously. And when that happens, of course, there's nothing left to hold up the floor is above, so bang, they come down like a pancake.
How does this coincide with the 5 or 6 second differential seen on the seismograms from Oklahoma Geological Center?
Well, the delay in the two detonations is very critical. In fact, it's one of the most critical aspects of the bomb that gives it away. And so I'm not going to comment how accurate the seismographic delay is. I'm going to say that it's within the accuracy range that it should be to fit our bomb signature.
Could your bomb have been numbers 2 and 3 that people heard?
Absolutely. In fact, that's what I'm proposing that happened. The number 1 was the ANFO, number 2 was the setup explosion, and number 3 was the final detonation.
Michael Riconosciuto. He's currently serving a 30-year sentence in the South Carolina Federal Penitentiary. He and Ted Gunderson have been acquainted for more than 15 years. They worked together on cases that resulted in 5 murder convictions. Michael Riconosciuto is one of the developers of the barometric bomb. However, he claims that in 1991 he was framed on drug charges by factions in the government in order to get rid of him. His documentation of being drug clean and company tests for years prior to his arrest tends to substantiate this. Investigator Gunderson and I traveled to a federal penitentiary in South Carolina. We wanted to talk with Michael Riconosciuto about his drug conviction and also about this super bomb which the government denies exists.
Looking at General Parton's photographs, they very dramatically show the elements of the structural steel rebar protruding in the bomb debris. And this is a type of damage that is not possible with an ammonium nitrate fuel oil or ANFO type bomb. An ANFO bomb has a lot of gas pressure and very little brisance or shattering power. And at the range that bomb was detonated, to do that type of structural damage this far into the structure, here you can see on the columns here the pieces of rebar completely exposed. Ordinarily it would take a contact type explosive to do that kind of damage.
We ask about telltale signs.
The signature is one of blast damage or shattering power, which is characteristic of a very high order explosive. The detonation velocity of our bomb is in excess of 20,000 meters per second. There is no known chemical explosive that has that much brisance. It is a type of explosive detonation device which is developed out of the nuclear weapons program. And this is not your garden variety detonator circuit that you would find in, say, the DuPont Blaster's Handbook, which is the Bible of the commercial explosives industry. Even in ordinary conventional military explosives, you would not find a detonator of this sophistication. The only place you find this sophistication is in nuclear weapons triggers.
Are you then saying this was a nuclear weapon?
No, this is detonated by the type of device which is used to initiate a nuclear weapon, which is non-nuclear in and of itself.
Riconosciuto believes that there are no conventional explosives in existence capable of doing the kind of damage evident at the scene.
Ted, this building was rated better than seismic zone 1. And any engineer familiar with the basic Roerich equations on structural stress would be able to tell you that this damage pattern is very unusual. And for a conventional explosive to do this kind of damage, where there's a marked demarcation from Class A to Class C damage, in other words, total destruction to moderate damage, it's just a technical impossibility. It would take a blast wave of extreme brisance or shattering power to do that kind of damage. It's obvious from the public reports that there were two separate blasts, and it's also obvious publicly that enhanced explosives are of a two-stage or long induction type explosion. There are, however, certain details which are classified, and this type of knowledge is highly specialized, and your average person on the street, or even your average explosives engineer, would not be aware of this type of technology.
When was this bomb developed?
This bomb was developed in the late 70s through our company, Pyrotronics Corporation, which was the parent company of Hercules Research. And then we went into a joint venture with the Wackenhut Corporation. In order to demolish a building like that, a building that is designed for better than seismic zone 1